welcome to another episode of our Advanta Alumni Interview Series, where we engage with our past students to help you provide some insights into the application process, also give you some insight on their universities. And today we have Nandini Agarwal with us. Nandini, before we start, why don't you just briefly introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes. Hi, I'm Nandini. I'm currently in my last year of my undergrad degree. I'm pursuing it from Singapore Management University, and my degree is a bachelor's in social science, where I'm majoring in psychology.
Oh, all right. So, Nandini, my first question for you is like when you were choosing your college, what was one of the most important factors that you considered?
So for me, I think location, like proximity to home, back home in India, was one thing for me, which is why I think I chose Singapore because it was very close by. For me, again, like cultural differences, I think staying in Asia was a lot easier of a transition as compared to if I went to the US or something like that. And then, of course, like the program strength, the class sizes for me, all of these things were really important to me. And I think for my college, they match perfectly with what I wanted.
Mhm.
Um, so, yeah,
Oh, all right. And like Advanta, we do a lot of profile building work at Advanta. So,
yeah.
what was your main focus while you're building your application strategy?
Um, I didn't get your
Okay.
question.
So the thing is like when you're doing profile building, you're trying to like cater toward a certain thing. Like if you're applying to physics, let's say, so you want
Yeah.
to talk more about physics. From that
Okay.
point of view, what were you trying to highlight in your
Sure.
profile?
Okay. So for me, since I'm a psychology major, and I think for me, one thing I'm really passionate about is generally just helping people. So for me, it was to highlight all of my experiences that I've completed so far that help people in different ways.
Mhm.
And for me, the spike in my application was my community service because I had actively participated in community service for a lot of years. And I was also the representative for it, like the prefect for it at my high school. So I think highlighting that was something that was really important to show that I have spent many years trying to cater to people in my community, and I will continue doing that in the future as well through psychology.
Mhm. All right, yeah. And do you have like any tips for students who are in the application process right now, especially for profile building? If you have like any new tips for them?
I think the most important thing is to be true to yourself, to be authentic to what you're doing, because if it doesn't feel true to you, it'll be very clear to everyone else as well that it's something that is not authentic to what you really are passionate about. So
Mhm.
try and find the thing that you truly care about and try to focus in on that so that you can choose the correct college based on that, and they'll also have a much higher chance of selecting you if they feel like you are being genuinely passionate and dedicated towards whatever you're applying for. So, yeah. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay. So basically being authentic and also doing things with a sense of purpose and not just doing it for the sake of it. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And now I would like to move a little towards like from application questions to the university specific question. Like would like to learn more about SMU.
Yeah.
So, how challenging are academics at SMU?
I think generally also in Singapore, academics are a pretty high priority for everyone here, especially since SMU is considered one of the big three colleges between NTU, NUS, and SMU.
Mhm.
However, I do feel like SMU does have a more balanced, like holistic kind of Western American type approach to their degree, because they not only focus on academics, they also focus a lot on like clubs, CCA involvement, different avenues where you can also express your strengths otherwise. So I quite like that. Like I'm a part of a lot of clubs here, academic and non-academic as well,
Mhm.
which I really appreciate. But I would say Singapore in general is pretty academically driven.
Mhm.
Um, it's just that for my university, it's a little bit lesser as compared to other Singaporean universities. But it's still pretty focused on studying, and you do have to take out a large chunk of your time to study for exams and everything.
Okay. And as a follow-up to that, like how do you divide the time you spend in classes versus doing independent work? Like what would be the percentage division if you give it?
I would say it's a 50% kind of divide, because I think the classes here are like a different format where we have a 3 hour 15-minute class every week for one subject. So you'll only go to class for one subject once a week, and then the rest of the work you do like yourself at home, before or after the classes. And then there's presentations and all of that. Aside from that, I feel like you have to also know how to like divide your time a little bit, because it can be very consuming here to just keep studying, since actually the system is a bell curve system. So you have to be better than everyone to succeed, basically. So it can be very difficult to kind of escape that if you don't know how to prioritize your time and all of these other things and divide it properly. So I would say it's a 50% balance for me.
Mhm. And also, this in the previous answer you talked about clubs at
Yeah.
SMU. So I would also like to know more about like how what kind of clubs are there, and also as an add-on to that is how easy it is to get into those clubs.
I think it depends on what you're applying for. So we have like a lot of different types of clubs. There's clubs for like sports, all different kinds of sports. They have clubs. They have clubs for gaming. They have clubs for like academics. So we have like a psychology society, and then like business clubs and all of that. Then they have a lot of clubs for like debating, for community service related clubs like Rotaract and Red Cross, like blood donation and everything. So I think if you apply for something that you're genuinely passionate about, there's a very high chance that you'll get in, because they can see that you're skilled and you're capable and you're passionate. And I think that's the most important thing. Like when I first came in my first year, I applied randomly to like 5, 6 clubs, and I didn't get through any of them because I didn't apply to ones that I care about. But then after that, I applied to Red Cross, which is for blood donation. I applied to something called Ivory Keys, which is to learn piano. I applied to SMU Psych Society, which I'm like, of course, very passionate about since it's my major. And those were like, it was like a breeze getting in, because I think I really cared about them and I was passionate. So I think it depends on what you apply for and whether, like I said, it's something that feels true to you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely. And is it like a certain time commitment that you have to give, or it also varies?
It definitely depends. Like I'm a part of SMU athletics, the competitive one. So I represent SMU in shot put, and that is almost no time commitment. That's fixed, because I train on my own time and I just have to go and compete in the events. While on the other hand, for our psychology society, we have like bi-weekly meetings, like 2 hours every 2 weeks, which
Mhm.
is again not that much, I feel like. But I was in Red Cross in the previous year, and that was a lot more time commitment because we were a smaller club, but we planned really big events. So, and I was marketing in that. So I would spend probably 2 to 3 hours every week on marketing work for Red Cross earlier. So again, it depends completely on your role, on the size of the club, and how involved it is in different things. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, all right. And okay, so moving on, I also want to learn more about the campus in general. So, how are the students' housing and dining options like? And
Okay.
also, it mandatory to stay on campus, or you can like choose your own housing?
So SMU, because of its location, SMU is located much more towards central Singapore, like towards Orchard area and all of that. So we don't have like a proper classic campus. It's more of a city campus where we have buildings with our classes and like
Uh,
just buildings on the street and everything. So it's not like a gated campus or anything. And there's just one building called Princep Street Residences for housing. And it's like honestly not that easy to get into the housing
okay.
there. So for us, mostly SMU students stay like in rented apartments around like nearby on their own, like on their own leases and everything. And there's no dining options for like a dining hall that you would find, but on campus we have a lot of restaurants. Like I think we have like 20 or 30 restaurants, and they're all really really good. Yeah.
So like, okay, so it's more in the city, and therefore you have to like,
Yeah.
most students would be staying in apartments or independently the way. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. For international students, for local students, I think they all stay with their parents here only. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Makes sense. Uh, but if you want to get the housing on campus, like is what you have to apply early, or how does that work?
Yeah, so you have to apply way earlier. And for us, it's difficult because Indian students, especially because our board results come late, we hear about our admission offers much later. So it's actually very difficult to get it, but they do usually prioritize first year and fourth year students for housing. So if you do apply in time and if they have space, then I'm sure you'll get a slot, but it's very difficult usually. So after the first year I didn't even try applying because it's too many people applying every year. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, okay, okay. All right. So moving on, how are the internship or like placement opportunities like
Mm,
on campus, and is the college usually supportive of that?
yeah. So actually for us we have a mandatory internship requirement to graduate. So we need to complete a 10-week 2.5 month internship
In your
some.
major,
Sorry.
in your particular major.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't have to be in your specific major. It just has to be like a proper accredited internship that is like a full-time 40-hour a week
Mhm.
kind of where you're going. So I did mine at a therapy mental health clinic in India this summer. And they approved that because even though it was overseas and everything, but they really really encourage internships for this reason so that you get some exposure. So a lot of people take like one semester off just to do like a really long internship, 6 7 months internship. And it's encouraged by the university. And I think for placements also, they have a lot of companies that are willing to partner with them to offer students internships. So it's actually pretty easy to get to get an internship while you're in university here because of how many different offers they have for all the students. So yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. And does SMU have a admissions interview to get it?
Yes, I had to give an interview. It was a group interview and it wasn't very long or intense. And I think it depends from major to major.
Okay.
But for me, it was a 15 20 minute interview just about like, it was very general about why I want to apply to this university, what interests me in psychology, and just a few general questions about my application.
Hmm.
But my friend, she applied for economics, and for that, they asked her like questions related to economics to test her level of understanding and everything. But for her, it was a group interview as well.
Okay. But it's still mandatory. Most of the majors have it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. And we also have like so this was mostly it up for the main question that I had. And
Mm,
we also have this small rapid fire section where
okay,
I will just want you to be quick and give me 1 2 word answers max.
sure.
Yeah. So give me 1 or 2 words to describe your university experience so far.
Um, Interesting, unique.
Mhm.
challenging, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite class or course like since you've joined the college?
Uh, I think social psychology. I took a social psychology class that was pretty interesting. And right now I'm taking a class called Framing Bollywood. So that's also pretty
Okay.
fun. Yeah.
Aiming Bollywood.
It's pretty fun.
So what is it about?
It's actually at NUS. I'm doing an exchange program at
Okay.
National University of Singapore right now. So
Mhm.
this class is at NUS and they basically like dismantle Bollywood movies, try to explain themes and characters and just understanding Bollywood movies beyond what we see. So like analyzing and breaking them down. It's quite interesting.
Okay, and we also like mentioned the exchange program. So
Yes.
usually like the Singapore universities have the inter-university
Yes.
exchange programs.
Yeah, so they have two things, international and local exchange.
Okay.
They they again like internships, they also encourage international or local exchange a lot. And like almost every student goes for some type of exchange. That's how common it is here. So they have like I think 200 international universities that they're partnered with. And then in Singapore also, I think there are 7 universities and they're all partnered with each other to do like a local exchange program. And it's quite prestigious because only 25 students are selected for every different university. Um, but it's quite interesting because you get another university's experience
Yeah.
in
Okay.
your own, yeah.
Mm. Okay. Okay. What is your favorite place on the campus?
So my building, the School of Social Sciences, it's like the newest building on campus, and it's where I spend most of my time because a lot of my classes are there. I would say I love that. And then we also have something called Connection, which is like all the restaurants and everything. And it's like a really like nice sitting area where students can just come and chill. So I think that's also a pretty cool space.
Mhm. All right. Your one favorite memory from your time at university so far?
I think how much it's pushed me to like change and become a new person, although it's not one specific memory, just because of the format of classes, we have presentations and everything. I feel like I'm a different person now,
Mhm.
in terms of speaking, in terms of confidence. So I really appreciate that from my university experience that maybe in a different college, in a bigger college, I might not have gotten.
Hmm. Also, like coming from the Indian system, I think
Yes.
if you get you went to CBSE, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, and
Yes.
then when you come to college, doing this presentation, all these things are genuine, like something very different from what we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. What do you think is the most challenging part of settling into university life?
I think for me, it was the fact that it was a completely new place and you essentially start out all alone in like a completely unfamiliar surrounding. And I think back home, we have so much like support from like all of the communities around us that it doesn't feel like anything that you do is like ever or by yourself. But I feel like generally just abroad cultures are a little more individualistic, a little more independent, so it feels a little difficult when you come and you're like I have to figure things out by myself at first. But then I think you become used to it, you start building your own communities here, finding your own friends, that then it becomes easier. But I think for me in the beginning that was the most challenging part, adapting to a new culture that is quite different still from my own.
Yeah, yeah, adapting definitely.
Yes.
Uh, what is your dream career post graduation?
So currently I'm going to be applying for my master's, and I hope to become a counseling psychologist after that and work in India and eventually open up my own practice.
Mhm. Okay. Lastly, what is your favorite food on campus?
Oh, we get this chicken katsu Japanese curry. That's like one of my favorite. It's called King Kong curry, and
Oh,
we get it in the food connection area, like I mentioned. So I really love that. It's a rice with this Japanese fried chicken. It's really good. Yeah.
okay. All right. So that was about it for the rapid fire round and mostly about it for the interview as well. And before we sign off, like, do you want to give any advice to people who are applying right now?
Um, I think just to open yourself up to new things, like to be open to experiences and adventures that you don't think you can do, because um, restricting yourself in this process will be like one of the most biggest challenges, I feel like. So you have to keep pushing yourself, whether you're at university or while you're applying for it. I
Hmm.
think just generally trying to open yourself up to be open to new things and try new things and kind of overcome whatever challenges you're facing will be something that will help you a lot, because otherwise you're just going to hold yourself back.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So essentially, opening yourself up and also stepping out of your
exactly.
comfort zone to grow.
Yeah,
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 definitely. So in the 2 high school years,
yeah,
I think their advice is definitely very helpful.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that was about it. I hope you had a great time. I
Yes.
also had a great time chatting with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I had a lovely time too.
Thank you. Thank you.